Gotham, a crazy podcast about DC, with your hosts E-Rock and PD. When we speak up, get your geeks up, cause you know you about to get geeked up. So sit back, relax, and get comfy. Lose your mind like Solomon Grundy, and listen to a show that won't be forgotten, coming straight out of Gotham.
Everybody out in the DC universe, welcome to another episode of Straight Outta Gotham, episode 45. I believe that's Chili Davis. We are a fandom pop culture podcast and a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network, hosted by Batman on Film. Make sure you check out all the other great shows on the network by heading over to batmanpodcastnetwork.com. Lots of great Batman-oriented shows, fanboy-oriented shows, so can't go wrong with any of them. I'm your co-host from the other side of the Hudson River. I'm a senior contributor to Batman on Film. I am Peter M. Vera, and today we are recording on July 8th, 2021. And as always, we have a great show for you today. But before I get into the good stuff, I'd like to remind you, all of our faithful listeners, that if you take the time to rate and review our show on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, and we read your review on air, we will send you a special prize pack. Now, let me introduce my partner in crime, the 1997 Ocean Bay Park Dune Scaling Champion in the Handstand Division, a fellow Batman on contributor, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eric Q. Holzman.
I think you got that wrong.
I don't think so.
My middle initial is not Q.
It is. It is because your parents were huge fans of the Mr. Magoo television show, so they named you after Mr. Magoo. Quincy Magoo.
Quincy?
Magoo, you done it again.
There we go. Oh. Yeah, I don't remember much of that Dune thing. I was kind of drunk the whole time, and
I don't know how you can scale a Dune doing a hands. That's your balance is impeccable.
I mean, I was young at the time. I wasn't even. No, I just turned 21. I was just a young buck trying to.
Your triceps must have been insane.
Doing my thing back then, but I honestly don't remember that competition at all. It was Hamptons. It was just craziness, and I don't remember it. So I apologize. That one doesn't bring up any memories for me.
I think you have a drinking problem.
I am drinking now as we speak, by the way. I told you.
Out of a Dunkin' Donuts cup.
No, it's actually Wendy's.
Okay.
They have these cool new lemonades. So I was like, oh, let me get one.
Is the Wendy's lemonade any good?
Pineapple mango is very good.
Pineapple mango lemonade.
Yes, very good.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it. And I got home and I put a little vodka in it to, heighten its effects, and I'm feeling okay.
Does that mean this is a vodka stream?
It could be, yes. I only drink snobby vodka. I'm drinking Grey Goose, and I only drink the high end stuff. Grey Goose, Chopin, Ciroc,
Majorska.
Those are the vodkas I drink.
Popov,
yes. Belvedere is another.
Is Popov high end vodka?
No, Popov is not at all.
I was going to say my mother uses that in vodka sauce.
That's like the $15, maybe $10.
That's cooking vodka.
Yes, pretty much. I remember when I always knew my dad liked to have martinis every night, and I always knew
dirty or neat.
Dirty. He liked dirty martinis.
Yeah,
and I always knew that it wasn't pay week when he had the cheap vodka. I knew it was pay week when he had the good vodka. I was like, all right, he got paid this week.
The dirtier, the better, in my opinion. I love filthy martinis.
Yeah, I like dirty martinis too. The olive juice.
That's the key.
Yes, that's the perfect part.
If you give me a good amount of olive juice, I can chuck vodka like it's nobody's business. It's all about the olives for me.
Yeah, man. That dirty martinis were his thing. And then as he got older, he started to drink like sour apple ones and stuff. He got into those.
I can't picture your father drinking a sour apple martini.
Dude. Like I said, this was after he had retired and he was kind of mellowing out. My mom liked them, so he would just drink them with her because she liked them. So
the things married men do.
Yeah, right. So but I mean, I have to say they do taste better. Sour apple martinis do taste a little better than dirty martinis. Dirty martinis are for people who really like to drink. So yeah, but I drink. My dad originally would just drink regular martinis. It would just be a vodka martini, a little bit of vermouth vodka, and then one little olive with no juice.
Okay.
So on his birthday, on the day that he passed, I usually have a regular vodka martini in his honor, because that's what he did. So
Fair enough.
not to bring the show down. Sorry, folks. I didn't want to bring the show down. We got on this little tangent about drinks and vodka, and here we go. So I just came home from seeing Black Widow.
All right, here we go.
So I will
thoughts.
I will give a very quick review on Black Widow.
Spoiler free.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything.
Tony Stark's back.
First of all, I like it. I'll start by saying I liked it. I thought it was a very good installment. It's not the typical Marvel formulaic movie. I'll say that.
Ooh.
There's things that go on in here that aren't typical of a Marvel film. Obviously, it has all the same superhero tropes, good guy, bad guy, stuff like that. Of course, that's every superhero movie. But this one doesn't follow the typical Marvel formula. The cast was perfect and great. All of them were good. Harbor is the funny, that kind of the comic relief in it, but still has his moment to shine. Rachel Weisz plays a perfect role for the character she plays, but Florence Pugh really steals the show. She's the best part of the movie for me. I really loved her performance as Yelena. And if the rumors are true that she is going to be taking over as the Black Widow character in the future, I don't know if this is true or not. This has been the rumor. They are in very good hands because she is excellent. And Peachy does have a Russian accent. So I know it's a thing for you. So she does have one.
That's been a big hang up for me for a long time.
But as for Scarlett Johansson, I thought she was good, but I also had the feeling like she knew this was the last time she was playing Black Widow. And that's one of the things about it that was a little off for me.
Did you get was it like in her performance, kind of like that? What's her name? Who played Mystique in the X-Men movies? You feel like what's her name?
Yeah, Lawrence.
She mailed it in. Everyone claims she mailed it in.
Yeah, when she did what's it called? When they did Dark Phoenix.
Yeah,
Dark Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah, she kind of. I don't think it was that blatant. Obviously, this character has brought Scarlett Johansson. She was popular beforehand, but this character has made her super popular. So I think she takes care of the character in the movie as well. Like she does her justice. I just feel like, having seen her play her many times before, this wasn't her best performance. And as the only solo film, I wish it was. I guess that's the way I could put it. But yeah, the other thing I'll say is, had this come out, say 10 years ago, or maybe after the first Avengers film, something, if they threw her in there in that phase, I think it would have more weight. I think it would have more weight for all of us. Like, we know what happens to her now. So, we know this is not going to be something that continues, where at that time we didn't know that. So it might have been cool to have this movie come out then.
Don't ever just throw out the idea that they'll never make another prequel, a sequel to the prequel.
Oh, I won't.
I wouldn't be surprised if this movie's a hit and people love it. I'm totally expecting a sequel to the prequel.
Well, she's not under contract, so they would have to get her back in to play the role because her contract is up. So,
so this is it, huh?
This was the final swan song for her as we know it. But again, as we all know in comic books, people come back to life all the time, and movies, I'm sure they'll do the same thing. They could do the same thing. So, and as we know from Endgame, they created the time travel with the different timelines. And if you're not watching Loki, but Loki goes into that as well. So there's different ways
they could started.
Yeah, exactly.
I know that much at least.
Yeah. So they could give her a way to come back if she wanted to play the part, and if they wanted her to come back. But definitely go see it. It was good to be back in the theaters watching a movie like this again. I'll say that as well.
How was the popcorn?
Oh, the popcorn was great. It always tastes better at the movies. I don't know why. I make it home all the time and I eat it, but when you go to the movies,
Regal or Lowe's?
This was a Regal.
Regal makes fresh popcorn. Lowe's it hangs out for a while.
Well, I saw it in IMAX, so that
nice.
Regal only has where I live. There's only a Regal theater with IMAX. We don't have an AMC with an IMAX theater, so I had to go. But again, definitely go see it, guys. Especially the hardcore MCU fans. There's stuff in it that you're gonna be able to pick out and recognize. And definitely stay for the end credits. The end credits scene is a very, very good one.
Zombie Stark.
So I don't want to say anything about it, but it's very, very good. As most of their end credit scenes usually are. There's been very few, like the Howard the Duck one, I think, in Guardians.
That was great.
It was great, but it was kind of like, what is this about? But it was great to see Howard the Duck, right? So you had that.
I can't believe they brought back Tobey Maguire in Black Widow. That's just nuts.
Yeah, none of that. I don't want Pete to get anyone's hopes up. Sorry, Nico. There's no Tobey Maguire in Black Widow. But from what I saw on Twitter, he's watching it now. So by the time he hears this, he's gonna know what's going on. But
dude, I heard it slaps.
So yeah, but definitely go see it. This is a stellar installment. It's not the fantastical one again because she doesn't have powers, so it's very much more a spy type story. And Ray Winstone's in it too. He's kind of the villain in this. There's a little twist with Taskmaster. I'm not going to say what that is, but there's a little twist.
He's Tony
there.
Stark.
So, so just pay attention. And go see it. Enjoy it. I know people were worried about the first time there's a Taskmaster. They're like, "Oh, he looks like crap." Trust me, they took care of all that in post. He looks great.
He looked pretty good, actually. That's.
I remember there being a thing like, "Oh, he doesn't look good," but he looks fine in the movie. But definitely go see it, and you won't be disappointed. It's a very good summer movie, and it's a good way to start. Most people say July is really the beginning of summer movie season. I don't know. I always thought it was June, but most people say July 4th weekend, so this is kind of that thing.
I always say July 4th is the end of summer, because after the 4th of July, it just flies by, and you're like, oh, it's September.
So you give yourself 2 weeks? You give yourself 2 weeks of summer, and then after that, it's all downhill?
Dude, after the 4th of July, it flies by. It really does. Every 4th of July, after 4th of July, the summer just kind of just goes by so fast, and it's the end of August.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was in school, I used to think that. When you're summer vacation, you're like, crap, you start counting down the days at the weeks after 4th of July. You have to go back. I know in certain parts of the country, though, they start school in August. So
that's horrible.
They end in early May, though, so it's kind of a trade-off. I remember when I lived in Florida, that was the case. So we had all of that. But I'm not looking forward to, I don't know, this summer. I don't know. Whatever.
How could you not be looking forward to the summer? It's already here.
No, I mean like the rest of it. I don't know. I have to get to the beach. I haven't been to the beach yet.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
So sorry for tangenting, guys. Sorry for doing that. So we have a good show plan for you tonight. There's a few things we want to get to. Some old news, but there's some current news that actually just happened today. So I'm going to start with that. We got word from DC that we're going to be getting, more of the Long Halloween, apparently. So there's a press release today that's saying that both Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale will be continuing their story. And the tagline, it says, and show that some secrets never stay buried. So Pete, I know I love the Long Halloween. It's one of my favorite Batman stories. I'm sure you do as well, even though you've never read it.
It's a joke that just won't die.
I'm only kidding. I just had to get.
I guess this is my Captain Marvel. It'll never escape me. Even though I own like 7 different versions of that story, and I have like, oh jeez.
But we know you've read. We know you've read it. So, when we heard the news, what did you think? I'm sure you're excited. I'm excited.
I'm ecstatic. I love Loeb and Sale together, and not just their DC stuff, but their Marvel stuff. Captain America White, Spider-Man Blue, Hulk Gray, Daredevil Yellow. Like it's all just amazing. Tim Sale's artwork is so unique, and I was a little upset that it didn't kind of translate over into the movie, but this is great news. It's just Loeb is masterful at the ensemble cast, the real detective story, the mystery story. I'm really excited for it. I can't wait to see what he has up his sleeve. I'm sure it'll involve the Falcone crime family. I mean, Catwoman will be involved, I'm sure, as all the other heavy hitters in Gotham City. So it's just great news overall. And I wonder how much impact maybe the movie had on them doing this. Like, there's no doubt in my mind, Loeb's always had the story in the back of his head. I don't think as a creative person like that, you ever are finished telling a tale, right? Unless you're Chris Nolan, apparently. But I always feel like Loeb and those guys are always at least like, oh, well, it's the next job for them. I feel like they're always freelance. So once they stop thinking of things to do, they start running out of work. But I'm pumped for it. I can't wait to do it. Read it. Loeb and Sale together, just you can't miss. I just hope they still have it. And when I read it, I'll judge it. But it just gets me excited. I'm very excited, and I can't wait.
Yeah, Loeb even said in the press release, he says 25 years ago, Tim Sale and I set out to tell a mystery tale of how Gotham City went from crime to freaks. He says the result was Batman: The Long Halloween. We're thrilled to be back at DC revisiting some of our favorite characters, all the while revealing that you may not know the whole story. So clearly, like you said, there was more either in his head when they wrote it, or there's more has developed since. But
it's like, was it like Batman Earth Volume 1,
right.
Batman Earth 1? There's no way you tell me Jeff Johns doesn't have an idea. This is what these guys do. They just make stuff up.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like it always amazes me. Like I've written things before, fantasy things, but it always amazes me how these guys could just do this and be so on point with it and so developed. It's storytelling is such a art in so many ways. People could tell stories, but not everyone could tell stories well, and that's what, to me, these stories are. They're just really well. Even the ones I don't love, I can at least say, well, yeah, they told the story that they wanted to tell, and it was a good story.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this. As you said, that team is legendary, and they're great together. So I'm really, really looking forward to this. And I can't wait. Can't wait for this to come out.
Yeah, this is probably the best thing to come out of, the Netflix Marvel universe getting canceled, right? That was Jeff Loeb. Like, he was kind of in charge of all that. So, one door closes, another one opens, and it's a door that was closed 25 years ago. So it's great to see. I'm pumped. Like, these guys are just legends.
Right. And I mean, the timing was perfect with the movie out and everything.
I definitely feel like the movie was like, they were like, wow, people are loving this. This is great. How can we, they're like, well, we've reprinted this book. How many, every way possible. Yeah. What can we do? And I'm sure they say, hey, Jeff, like, do you have another story in you? And I'm sure he's had this story for 25 years.
Yes.
And that's it's like when an artist comes out with an album, and it's like somebody like back in the day, like Lloyd Banks, that first album was fire. It was great. Like, everyone loved it. And his second album was trash. I think it was called like Rotten Apple, because he's been working on this first album for 15 years, that's why. And then, you get to a point where they just make album after album, and it's like, there's no, it's not in the oven long enough. They took it out too early. So that's kind of what I think it is. He's had so much time to work on this. I'm sure he's been working on it in his spare time. I'm sure there's stuff that he wanted in that story that was probably in some Daredevil stuff or backwards or vice versa.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
they recycle. I mean, Snyder has a Star Wars movie coming out that he has to rework to make it its own thing. So I'm sure that stuff like that happens all the time.
Oh, I'm sure, it's just not the right time for the story to come out when they want to have it. So it gets shelved or it gets put in the back burner. Like you brought up Lloyd Banks. I could think of Dr. Dre was doing the Detox album for years. And it finally, when he finished the album, it wasn't Detox, it was Compton, and it went along with the Straight Outta Compton movie. Yeah. So things like that. It's just very similar that you wait a long time. They have all this music, and in this case have this story.
In the same note, you also have Guns N' Roses and Chinese Democracy, and it turned out to be horrible.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So you have some hits, you have some misses. But if you guys want to get a really good breakdown of the actual Long Halloween, check out the Batman Book Club with Ryan Lauer and some other guy who might be talking right now that we discussed the Long Halloween.
Not me. I talked about year one.
Yeah, Pete was the first episode with year one. I was the second episode with the Long Halloween. So check that out if you guys want to get a breakdown of that. I had a good time with Lauer on that. So shout out to Ryan again and all the great work he's doing over there. That podcast to me is incredible. And
we're going to catch him in downloads one day.
I hope so. But he keeps getting better. That show keeps getting better. And Pete, you're on it so much.
Once a month.
That, if everyone loves hearing Pete's voice, go check out those podcasts.
There's awesome. Many people that don't.
So we got another today, actually, another thing dropped that was very, very cool. It's a show that we've all kind of been wondering what's it going to be about. Marvel dropped the first trailer for the What If show. As we know, the concept is like, what if the stories that we had were told differently. So, Pete, what did you think of the trailer?
Man, this thing was awesome.
Right?
I am so pumped for that. I mean, the possibilities are endless, and just I guess this is season 1. Killmonger saving Tony Stark. What would happen if T'Challa became a Ravager? What if Peggy? Peggy.
Peggy, yeah, Peggy.
I was going to say Sharon. I had a live action brain fart. What if Peggy became Captain Carter? You know, I was surprised they called her Captain Carter. I wasn't like maybe she would be like Captain Britain or something. I don't know if that. I don't know. And here's the thing: like, I love the What If books. I love them.
Right.
You know, like. What if like Spider-Man married Black Cat or whatever? Like I bought a bunch of them, or you know, they're so cool because it's like there's usually just one shot Elseworlds tales, right? For you stealing a DC word, and it's just like, oh man, like it's great because it's not in continuity. Not everyone has to get all upset, you know. You know, when something crazy like, what if Spider-Man never took off the black suit, or what if Spider-Man kept his 6 arms, or what if the Hulk had a Wolverine adamantium? Like the possibilities are so cool, like it, and to see them finally do it, and the animation style looks so awesome.
Yes,
I was so impressed. But what really, it was the likeness of the characters and the voices. I'm not sure if those are the actual voices or not, but like it seemed like, I'm curious to see, like, is that Boseman's voice for T'Challa?
I know
it sounded like him. And then like when Thor popped up, I was like, that sounds like Hemsworth, but it doesn't look like him. It's not his likeness. But it seemed like Killmonger looks like Michael B. Jordan, like I was like to a T, as did Tony Stark, like very much like their live action counterparts. So I'm curious to see. I don't know. I haven't checked out IMDb. I probably should have, but regardless, it just looks fantastic. And seeing the Watcher pop up was like, oh man, that's so cool. I'm hoping to see him one day. We saw them in what movie was it? Oh man. It was a Guardians movie, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, he was in that.
Yeah, we saw that. So like, I'm hoping to see them more in the MCU, and it's just cool to see. And I'm just pumped. Like this is just awesome stuff. This is the Marvel stuff I can't wait to watch. Is this What If stuff?
Yeah, I mean that first shot you get of the Avengers, and it has T'Challa there, and like you said, the Captain Carter and.
And they do the shot and it becomes the Guardians, you know?
Yeah, like you see Star-Lord and you see Gamora. Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm really looking forward to this and seeing exactly where they go with it and the what ifs they choose the stories to tell, because, like you said, this is something fresh and something new. And we all know, sometimes Marvel can be very by rote. They're very much they have a formula, they stick to it. So sometimes that could get a little boring, but this won't be. And none of their shows have been, actually. So when it comes to the TV side, they've been doing things very, very differently.
Yeah.
So I hope that this continues that. And yeah, it's just a cool idea to play around with. Like it's very, very, like you said, there's comic books that have these storylines and similar storylines. It's going to be cool to see it on screen and see how it unfolds, but I'm really looking forward to it. So far, every television thing they've done, I've liked. So I'm hoping this is just another one added to the list, and we get more good content. So
yeah, it's just, I give them so much credit. The animation reminds me of like Archer and Invincible.
Yes.
It's got that with that thick stroke around the characters and everything. And I'm just pumped. Like, this is a cool idea. I give them so much credit for doing this.
So speaking of TV projects we got a trailer for Marvel. There was some news that came out about another HBO Max project, the long developmental project of Batgirl. So the little bit of news came out. New character details, description of the film's villain. It's going to be a film, right? But it will be on HBO Max.
I know the website was in question, but I reached out to some people and they said that is the right casting call. So we don't have to mention the website because it's questionable. But the casting it comes from a casting grid and it's legit. So that's cool. And so
So the guys who did Bad Boys for Life, as we know, Bilal Fallah and Adil El Arbi, are going to be directing this. We know Christina Hodson, of course, who wrote Birds of Prey and The Flash and Bumblebee. She is writing it, and there's a little blurb that came out that they're hoping to take audience on a fun ride. It says Christina's script is crackling with spirit. They have a lot of energy involved in the project.
Mm-hmm.
So, anytime we get this kind of news about projects we've been hearing, and then we get more news on them, I'm always like, okay, that's great, because we've heard many times, we've heard stories, oh, this is going to happen, and then it doesn't. So the fact that we're getting more news on Batgirl, we don't have a release date yet, but it does seem that this is going to happen. So very, very cool. Very cool stuff.
I'm really excited to see this. I'm curious because I know one of the characters that they were casting is Commissioner Gordon. So I'm curious to see where this takes place. Does J.K. Simmons get recast? Does it take place in that universe? Where is this Batgirl? Who knows? I don't know. Like, we know it doesn't take place in the Titans universe. That's about all we know. It's not Barbara Wilson from Batman and Robin. So, and it does not seem to be the Batgirl Oracle from the old Birds of Prey TV show. So we don't know where it fits, and that's fine. And I'm excited. That's part of the anticipation of it. Right. And I think these guys are some pretty cool directors. I thought they did the hell of a job with the Bad Boys movie.
Yes, I like that movie.
I went in there not expecting to like it, and I did. And so I'm excited. And the writer, Miss Hodson, she hasn't written a movie I haven't liked. I'm a big fan of Birds of Prey. Bumblebee was absolutely phenomenal. So between her and Andy, I think The Flash will be pretty good. So I think this will be pretty good. I'm excited. I like what she does, and I think she's got a grasp on these DC characters.
Right. And yes, obviously we know the main villain is going to be Firefly, so that's cool.
Which is cool. Well. And Firefly has been rumored for the Matt Reeves movie for a while. So we know they've been trying to bring that character to the screen. And it's cool. Firefly is one of my favorites, going back to Batman the Animated Series. I always liked he's escaped my name right now, but the stuntman, I thought it was a cool angle. The Hollywood the stunt guy who gets shunned, and
Garfield Lynn.
Yeah, Mr. Linz. That's it. Linz. Yes. I liked Firefly, and I'm excited that they're doing things with, these other characters. I understand people get a little upset, like, you spend too much in Gotham. There's too many bat stuff, blah, blah, blah. But, I don't mind seeing Oracle on Titans. And I think it's really cool to see Batgirl kicking ass on HBO Max. So I'm ready to go. Like, it's just cool. Like, everyone's worried about DC's plan. Here's the plan. We're making Batgirl go. Like, that's it. That's the plan. Like,
exactly.
Sit back, enjoy the movie. Use your head canon, fit it to whatever continuity you want. Who cares? I don't care. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the film.
Exactly. I mean, it's time. I think it's time to have these other characters explored. And, she's one that a lot of people know. Even people in the mainstream have heard of Batgirl before. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the show and, the movie, and how they develop it and where they go with it. But like you said, Hodson is great, and this is hopefully we'll get.
I think it's cool that they're bringing these names. Hodson, like, her going HBO, like, she's a movie writer,
yes,
and now she's writing shows. I think that's a good thing. That's a good sign, in my opinion. It's good for her. It's good for HBO Max. It's good for the quality of the movie. I keep calling it a show because I think HBO. I think it's shows.
Exactly, I do too.
So I think it's bold. I think it's great, and she's a hot writer. So let's just go. Like, I'm ready. I can't wait to see what the suit looks like. I can't wait to see who they cast in what role. Like, let's just get it popping.
Yeah, if The Flash is a good movie, she is going to be in a really good space.
Yeah,
Christina Hodson be in a really good space. So
I think she got caught a bad break with Birds of Prey between COVID and between the name of the movie and it being R-rated. I don't think she kind of, and the haters, for whatever reason, we all know the reason.
Yeah, there's.
So I think she caught a bad break with that, but I thought that movie was phenomenal. I love it.
It's a really good movie. It's different, but it's a good different. It's a really good movie. I enjoyed it the first time I saw it. So,
and what they did with Cassandra Cain doesn't really bother me.
Nope. Movies take liberties all the time. Artistic license. It happens all the time. So, I'm just looking forward to seeing what they do with Batgirl, and hopefully it's another hit. Speaking of DC, we had another bit of news come out recently from the mind of J.J. Abrams. He seems to be all over the place lately when it comes to this. And he's bringing DC Comics Madam X to HBO Max, along with Angela Robinson, who, what's it called? Where was she from? I'm losing my mind here. She did The L Word, Professor Marston, and The Wonder Women. I haven't watched either of those, but those are projects that she's known for. So I don't really know much about her, but she apparently was involved with remaking Flashdance, the movie Flashdance. Yeah. So Madam X is is in the Justice League Dark universe, as we know. So there's talks about they're doing a Constantine show. There's talks about her being involved in that somehow as well. So trying to build a little bit of a universe behind that, and I don't know much about Madam X, I have to say. I don't know if you do, Pete, but
Madame Xanadu, yeah, she's kind of like this witch doctor-y, spooky fortune teller type vibe. She fits really, really well, like you said, in Justice League Dark. Anyone who's watched Swamp Thing, she was portrayed beautifully in that short-lived show.
See, I knew I should have watched that show.
You got to watch the show; it's actually phenomenal. It's a sin that it was not renewed. And I really like that interpretation of what they were doing. So I'm really interested to see what goes on here. JJ is a force to be reckoned with. I trust the guy. Let's see what he can do. This is going to be cool, mythical, ghosts and goblins, as Harvey Dent would say in Batman '89. So it really could open up possibilities for kind of like that, just that magical element. We know that they want to do somewhat of a Zatanna movie, and
right, they're having that. So yeah.
So they're kind of exploring that, and the MCU has a success with Doctor Strange, so it's definitely something that people are yearning for, and I'm all about it. Like again, like taking risks with lesser known characters. Like I thought it was cool to see Madame Xanadu in Swamp Thing. The fact that she's getting her own show is kind of crazy to me. Like it can be kind of like this ghost story, conjuring, Ouija type stuff. It can be really funky, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Right, they definitely seem to be tapping into the Justice League Dark side of things. As I said, J.J. Abrams is not only in Bad Robot is his company. They're doing a Constantine series, so tying that into Madam X and maybe something with Zatanna going on, and you have a lot of that involved in this, and it seems that they're going for that kind of an angle. Abrams, I just keep thinking too, he's doing the animated Batman series with Matt Reeves. He's doing the new Superman film. So his imprint on DC is going to be large, going forward. Yeah. So,
there's a reason why he got paid all that money.
Yeah, you're right. So hopefully, this is good. I like these kinds of stories. I love Constantine. Like I love that story. I love his story.
Did you watch the show on NBC?
I never did, and I kicked myself because people tell me all the time it was good. It looked cheesy the first time I saw it, so I didn't watch it.
It's crazy, man. It's pretty.
But
dark.
I like the Keanu movie. I might
James
be in the minority.
Wan does too. Actually, he's a big fan of that movie.
So, I mean, I like the character. I like magic and dark mist and all that stuff. I like that kind of stuff. So, I'm all for this. The more we get of this stuff, the better I am. The better I feel. So let's see where they go with this, because again, there's a lot of DC stuff coming out, and JJ's heading a lot of it. So got a lot of stuff.
Good sign, if you ask me.
Yeah, having a talented filmmaker like him involved. Yeah, I know he's controversial now because of the Star Wars stuff, but who is it?
I'm going to defer to Rick Shue.
Everyone involved in Star Wars is controversial. So it doesn't matter. I'm looking forward to this, and all the DC content, all of it that's coming, I'm really looking forward to. So keep it coming, guys. I'm gonna watch. I don't know about anyone else, but I will watch. So there's a couple funny, cute things that we heard about. One of them I thought was kind of interesting was Jordan Ross Schindler tweeted that they're writing a musical based on Scream.
How cool is that?
So I like musicals. I know not everybody does. I am a fan of musicals. I grew up, I have 7 older sisters, so I grew up with musicals in my house. So I'm very, very much a fan of them. And I always like when you get these musicals that are based off of things that you wouldn't think musicals come from, like Spider-Man, that Spider-Man one that was out. I never thought we'd get a musical about Spider-Man, but there we go, we got one. So this is kind of, to me, in the same type of deal. Scream obviously is a horror movie, yeah. You know, and having a musical with mixed in with a horror type thing, I think is going to be incredible. So,
it's interesting.
right?
It's just good timing too, because Scream 5 today, one of the co-directors posted on Twitter, is done.
I did see that, yes.
So we got a lot of good Scream stuff coming. This musical's just, I'm like you, just like, oh wow, you guys are really going for it. This is really interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what it's about. What are, you know, like, what do they do? What don't they do? You know, like, is it just Scream 1? Is it a combination of the 4 previous movies? I don't know. So it just, you know, the questions are going to be answered, and now there's just the anticipation. But I think it's a really great idea.
A lot of times with these kind of musicals, you get serious and spoofy at the same time. Like they'll throw in a little bit of each to keep the audience interested.
Is that like a special word? Each
of each. Sorry, a little bit of each.
That vodka's kicking in.
Yeah, it might be. So a lot of times they do that with these kinds of musicals. So maybe it'll be something along those lines. But this was one of the stories when you said the rundown. I'm like, that's really interesting. Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to.
Did you ever watch any of the Scream TV show on MTV?
I didn't, and that's another one I kicked myself about because
I watched the first 2 seasons and I really enjoyed it.
That and Teen Wolf. Everyone told me Teen Wolf was great too. I never watched that. So I don't know. But I love Scream, so I probably should check it out, at least watch some of it.
What's your ranking of Scream movies for the first 4, obviously?
Oh. One obviously is first. Then I think 2, then probably 4, then 3.
Okay, I go 1, 4, 3, 2.
1, 4, 3, 2. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's probably those are the rankings I would have.
Fair enough. I really like the 4th one. I was like,
what about I Know What You Did Last Summer? I'm kidding. We don't need to go.
I love that. They only made one of those movies.
No, they made 2.
They only made one of those movies.
You didn't care for the one with Mekhi Phifer and Brandy and
Jack Black playing
Black,
white dude with dreadlocks smoking weed.
Oh man, that one was stupid.
That was so bad.
It was bad.
The only good thing I was like, Will Benson.
I know.
Oh god, dude, it's so on the nose.
I know.
It's the only good thing.
I know.
That's how bad it is.
It really is bad.
I love the first movies. First movie's great. I've actually been meaning to buy the book. I've never read the book.
I haven't either. But no, you're right. The first one is very good. The first one is. That was the time when all these movies came out. That was the same time, and we had we had 2 different Party of 5 members heading up both of the movies.
I loved Party of 5.
Yes,
oh my god, that's one of my favorite shows.
Yep. You had Jennifer Love Hewitt with I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Nev Campbell with Scream.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Oh god.
What are you waiting for?
That was the first time I saw Freddie Prinze Jr. And I'm like, you know what?
If I'm actually correct, I read this not too long ago. That scene, I believe, it was either directed by a child, or he told them how to do the scene. Like there was a kid on set, and he's like, "Well, why don't we do it like this?" And that scene, I believe, was directed by a child.
Yeah, someone won a contest, I think, or something like that, and they weren't able to give that scene to them. They got a copy of the script, and they were able to put in a scene that they wanted, and that was the scene that won. Right after she hears the crabs in her trunk, and then they go there, and there's no crabs there. Oh, why do I remember these scenes? I don't know. But,
I love that movie. I don't care.
But I do. I remember them. So,
what was the other guy who gets killed at the theater? What's his name? His real name? What is his name?
At the theater?
Like whatever. What's his girlfriend's performing and he gets killed on the top? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Ryan Phillippe?
Yes, that's it. Yeah. No, it was just 90s heartthrobs. They were all 90s.
Yes. You had Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Sarah Michelle Gellar in that movie, and. Yes, yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr. and eventually,
and then You had the Scream. I Know What You Did Last Summer, a combination of Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Matthew Lillard in Scooby-Doo.
That's true. It all comes together. It's like 6 degrees of
Yeah,
horror
just-
movies.
Yeah, they're just solving murders in different ways now.
Oh, I love when we go on these tangents. It's fun. But yes. So again, back to the original point. Scream musical. Look out for that, guys. If you live in the New York area, we should probably pay more attention because that's probably where it'll come out first.
Yeah, it might be the first musical I see post-pandemic.
So we will see. So a couple of trailers came out that, for me personally, were like, forget it. The first one, of course, is Masters of the Universe Revelation Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys follow me on Twitter, you see when it got posted, I just said, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god." That was my tweet attached to the trailer.
Someone's excited.
Man, watching that trailer, my 6, 7, 8-year-old self was just going crazy. Like, it's just so awesome to see this coming back. Someone who I know liked it as well, Kevin Smith, doing it. So I know he's going to take care of the characters, and this concept of the story that they're putting up is very, very cool and good. And the art's good. I like the voice cast. They're including a bunch of characters. Looks like we're going to get a couple different versions, maybe a Skeletor. Like, there's a lot of things that this trailer shows you, but still doesn't give up everything. But for some, I was going to watch anyway, but this just got me even more hyped. So, Pete, as someone who's not a huge He-Man, Master of the Universe fan, did this trailer make you want to watch it?
Yeah, it seems really cool. I don't, I feel like I just missed that boat with Masters of the Universe, but this just seems really crazy. Like, who is that guy with the rotating eye? That thing was cool. I was like, oh, that guy was.
What do you think his name is?
I don't know. Eyeball Man. Like, I know they have crazy names. Like, I know it's like a lot of the names are like on the nose, so I have no idea what that guy's name is.
Yes.
Rotating eye. I don't know. One-eyed
Okay.
bandit.
He has 3 eyes.
3-eye man
That rotate. You don't even have a guess? A better guess than that?
No, no. What is it?
Triclops.
Oh
Not Cyclops. Triclops.
Amazing. And then the talking tiger that was green, I was like, oh, look, that's Beast Boy.
Well,
that was cool. And just seeing, what's his name? Prince Philip turn into He-Man. Like, that was, I don't know his real name. I'm sorry.
Prince Adam.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. And I just, anything with Mark Hamill's worth my attention. So I didn't know Skeletor had like a mask.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, there's references in this trailer of things that aren't as popular that people would know from the characters. So
they mentioned Gray Skull, and what was the other one?
Mountain. I'm forgetting the mountain.
Yeah.
Snake Mountain.
Snake Mountain. I was like, oh, I've never heard of that. Yeah. I was like, okay, so like
that's where Skeletor's lair is, Snake Mountain. So
who's at Castle Grayskull?
The sorceress is the purveyor of it, and that's where He-Man goes.
Okay. For some reason I thought Skeletor was in the skull.
He always tries. Well, that's part of the story. Like, he tries to take it over. Like, it's part of the story. You'll see it. You'll watch it.
Watch it. I'm like, oh wow, this is interesting. It's just really cool. And I remember from the Toys That Made Us, they literally were just like, yeah, we just named him whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Well, the best thing about that the thing I always remember with the naming of that one is they wanted to call Merman Seaman.
Yeah.
And of course, there was an issue with calling a character Seaman or Seaman. So
what are you going to do?
But that's the one thing from that show that I'll never forget. Was that part, because I remember just smiling like, yeah, I knew that story. It was kind of
that's funny.
But yeah, so guys, I'm a big He-Man fan, Master of the Universe fan. So definitely go watch this and look out for a new podcast from Here to Returnia that I will be doing with Garrett Grev from Batman on Film as well.
Finally, these two guys get to, unload.
on this show, and we're gonna do we might do an episode before we do our actual review of the show, which goes into the history of Master of the Universe and what it stemmed from, and maybe some of the topics of the old shows.
I want to hear Garrett's top 5 He-Man action figures.
Oh, they have some. They're all so simple. The names are also simple, but they have some pretty cool ones too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So,
I wish I could just say I have the power and I can turn into Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like
we all do.
That's like the coolest part of the show. Yes,
we all hope that one day we can find a sword.
Like I wish I could go from looking like Nico to looking like Arnold.
And that's pretty much what happens. At least in this version,
right? Because in the original cartoon, he always looks like
he's big.
He-Man.
Like he's a bigger guy.
He just wears like what, a purple vest or something?
He wears a purple vest with like this white t-shirt.
Shakespearean.
Yeah, pretty much. But in this, he actually looks like he's 14 when he uses the sword.
Yeah, I kind of, I don't know. Like I'm going to check this out definitely. And because it's Netflix, it'll all be out at once. So I could just binge it. And if I like it, I'll just, cram through.
Right. Well, sticking in the Netflix world, another trailer came out for another one of my favorite childhood toy lines or cartoons, which is Transformers. Yes. So there's been 2. The War for Cybertron was a trilogy that they did. There's 2 before this, and this one is called Kingdom. And what they do in the last one is they kind of introduce the Beast Wars, and in this trailer they show you more of that. Like they include more of the Beast Wars characters that were in Transformers. And it's kind of weird that they're doing this, and we just got this as well after last week getting the live action one where they're going to be including the Beast Wars characters. So I love the first 2 Netflix, the War for Cybertron stuff. I love the first 2. I thought they were great and very well done. So I'm really looking forward to this now. This trailer just adds more and more of what we saw from that. It's all Generation 1 look. It's all Generation 1 look to
beautiful. Me. Looks beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to the ending of this because they left it kind of on a cliffhanger, and so I'm looking forward to the end. The last installment of this trilogy. So, Pete, did you watch the trailer? And if you did,
you bet your ass I did. I love that noise. I am so pumped for this. I love Beast Wars. Beast Wars was the right age for me. I mean, I love G1. Don't get me wrong, but Beast Wars is also like they go hand in hand for me. Like I can't really say I like one more than the other. I love them both equally. So to see Optimus Prime and Optimus Primal fight is really cool. To see Cheetor back, I love Cheetor. I'm so pumped for this. I am so excited because one of my favorite parts in Beast Wars was when they find the Ark, and the fact that I get to see the Maximals and the Autobots together is really because I'm always sitting there as a kid. I was like, Optimus is gonna wake up. Optimus is gonna wake, and he never really does. Spoiler alert, Eric. But it's utterly fantastic. I am so. I might be more excited for this than the movie. I have to watch the first 2. Or were they movies or these TV shows? Or are they seasons?
They're seasons.
Are they long? Are they 20 episodes? Like, is this going to take time, or are they kind of like Disney Plus things?
No, they're all at once.
No, but is it like an 8-episode thing, or is it like a 20-episode thing?
I don't remember. I might be getting this confused with the Transformers Prime show I watched. Now that I think about it,
I gotta check it out. If it's still on Netflix, I'll check it out and I'll watch.
They
them
are.
all.
They're the first two are still on Netflix. Yes,
but just like Bumblebee, to bring back the Bumblebee. I said Bumblebee to bring back the G1 design is just like love it. I'm so excited. I don't think I saw Jazz in the trailer.
I did not.
Jazz is my favorite Autobot, so I was upset when they killed him, Michael Bay. That's one of my big negatives with you. So I would hope to see Jazz at some point in this show. He is my favorite. So
yes,
followed right by Ironhide.
I hope so. Well, Ironhide's in it, but I do hope we get Jazz. I don't remember. I can't recall if he's in it. I don't remember him being in it though.
How could he not be in it? He's the number 2.
I don't know. I know Ratchet's in it. Ironhide, Bumblebee obviously. But and then they have like Alita 1, who was the female, she's in it. And a couple of other ones. And then they have the season before had all these, like the Decepticons were building more Decepticons, and they were kind of a big part of it, that they were like slaves and the Autobots liberated them. And watch it. It's interesting. That part's interesting.
Question.
But
who was like the dark version of Prime? Who is that character? Because I don't think I've ever seen that character before.
I don't recall a Dark Prime either. So I'm wondering if it's some kind of a mental
because he looked just like Optimus. And I was like, oh man, this is weird. I was just weird in the sense of like, oh, I don't know who you are. Like I'm color me intrigued.
I mean, I think I remember now I'm recalling. In Generation 1, there's one called Nemesis Prime, and he's kind of the dark opposite of Optimus Prime. So that's probably who that is, but I don't know for certain if that's the case. I was thinking about, because he's kind of not all black. He's got some silver and stuff, but
but it was interesting. I never saw that character before, so I can't wait for this. This looks so cool to me.
Yeah. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. The first two, like I said, were excellent. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Staying in the same kind of area, we got word that Ron Perlman will be voicing Optimus Primal in the Transformers Rise of the Beasts live action movie. Now we all know Ron Perlman. He was on the show many, many years ago, the first Beauty and the Beast TV show. We all know him as Hellboy as well.
Blade 2.
Right, he was in Blade 2.
I forget that guy's name.
So he will be voicing Optimus Primal, who you just mentioned.
I think he was in Alien Resurrection too. He's been in everything.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of typecast as that kind of guy.
Tough guy. He's a tough guy.
Yeah, he plays the tough guy in a lot of films. So, but I was happy to also hear that for the Generation 1 character, that Peter Cullen will still be Optimus Prime. So I was happy to hear that in this article.
Is Peter Cullen, like, will he ever not be Optimus Prime? Let's be honest.
When he dies.
Until that very sad day.
Yeah, like I can't imagine anyone else playing him. But yeah, so this is the first, obviously, as we know, we spoke about this thing last episode, that this will be the first live action Transformers movie since Bumblebee, who we both liked very much. So, so Ron Perlman is back, and
yeah, I'm excited. I love Perlman. He's Clayface. I believe he was also Clayface in Batman Animated Series. So Ron Perlman's been all over my childhood. He's one of my favorites. Really excited.
Yeah, so it's always cool when you get like big names.
He would have made a great Deathstroke.
Added to, well, at one point he would have, yeah. I think you're right. Now we have Joe. Hopefully he gets a shot. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Don't hold your breath.
I won't hold my breath, but you never know.
Anything's possible.
So we got another trailer of something that I know I have been waiting for as a fan of the show. I know you're a big fan of the show too. Of course, I'm talking about The Many Saints of Newark, and of course is the prequel to The Sopranos. This trailer came out last week, I think, or maybe a week before.
Yeah.
But man, first I want to say how much Gandolfini's son looks like him. That was the first thing I noticed when I first saw the clips of the trailer. I had never seen him before. I don't know if that's wrong with me, but I'd never seen him before. So, but man, this thing looks really good. Vera Farmiga playing Livia.
Mm-hmm.
Olivia. Perfect casting. I mean, we finally get to see a little Dickie Moltisanti. You get to see
the legend that is Dickie Moltisanti.
Exactly. You get to see him. You get to see a young Uncle Junior. I'm trying to think of anyone else that stuck out.
What's his name? Ray Liotta.
Yes, Ray Liotta.
Old Man DeMeo.
Right.
That's the thing, and like that's the thing that I'm really actually excited for, is to see that character, because that character was, I believe, he was sick while in prison before trial. Tony took over his family, right? While he was awaiting trial, and you never see the character again.
Nope.
Well, actually, no, Tony doesn't take over. What's his name takes over?
Jackie?
Jackie Aprile.
Yes, Jackie.
Jackie Senior takes over the family. Jackie dies, and so there's like that transition of power within like the first couple episodes of Sopranos, and you never, you don't really
Right.
see Old Man DeMeo. So that's really cool. I'm pumped. What's her name looks just like Olivia. I think they did something to her in post.
Vera Farmiga?
Yeah, which is fine. Because I thought she looked great. But yeah, I wanted. It's like, I can't wait to see young Sil, young Paulie, young Pussy. Who else?
Will we see a young Carmela?
I don't know.
Right?
They were, I believe they were high school sweethearts, if that's the old rumor, and that's cool. Maybe that's something that we find towards the end of the movie. Maybe Carmela moves into town. I don't know. But it's really cool. And, David Chase is back in a big way. This thing looks gritty and just mafioso to the core, like in line with anything that Scorsese's done. Like it looks that good. And it just, my home state of Jersey, just looks absolutely beautiful.
It does.
Taking place during the race riots, in Newark, that's a big thing. And
again, you get
the legend that is Dickie Moltisanti. Like I finally get to see what this guy's all about.
Right. You even get Frank Lucas, as people know, he ran Harlem, but if you saw the movie American Gangster that with Denzel Washington, that's who he played. So you get he's in this. So they keep it real, kind of having real people from real life involved in this story.
Yeah.
It looks excellent. Like as you said, it looks gritty. Obviously everything was shot on location. It's so clear to see. Nothing looks like a set. The clothes perfect for the time period.
Hairstyles.
Yeah, like everything was just really well done. And man, David Chase is. I wish
listening
he did more
to that guidance counselor talk to Livia, like her accent is so Jersey. I was like, wow, they did a phenomenal job. Just everything just seems so authentic, and I don't expect anything less from David Chase.
Exactly.
I know
he's that guy, man. I wish he did more stuff because everything he does, I seem to like. So I don't know.
He's one of those guys, like I said earlier, where like the story is always there, but he takes his time to get it right,
Yeah, he's incredible. This trailer was incredible. We've been hearing about this movie for so long.
I actually almost to a point never really thought it was going to happen. Like he seemed to put off making the movie for so long, and the theme of putting this film within the race riots of Newark really seemed to inspire him a little bit. So I'm interested to see as to what made, because it's an interesting little turn. Like he's young Anthony Soprano seems like a good kid who's just kind of like trying to figure his way out, and the glitz and glamour of crime just really appeals to him. So I'm really looking forward to see what makes Tony Soprano. I'm so interested to see this.
Right. It's going to be interesting to see all the characters we know from the show influence him as a young guy and how he gets to the place where he gets to be the Tony that we know from the Soprano show. And again, having his son play him was just great. I'm sure they could have picked somebody else, but
that was the only thing that kind of made me nervous. I'm like, can this kid act? Like that's the only thing. But I think he's done from what I've seen. He's doing it, and he's doing a fabulous job. And again, if David Chase believes in him, I got no reason not to.
Yes, 100%. I agree. Like you said, that guy seems, everything he touches seems to be gold. So looking forward to this. This was another one that was postponed because of the pandemic. So we're finally getting to see this one, and I'm so looking forward to it.
Same.
All right, so we got another little bit of news today about Comic-Con and how both Marvel and DC are going to skip San Diego Comic-Con, I believe, this year.
Mm-hmm.
And you brought up a good point. And because we have fandom, because DC has that, Marvel has that investors, or Disney has that investors call now where they release all this information.
And D23.
Yep, and D23. Will we no longer have a Hall H type atmosphere at Comic-Con where DC and Marvel, and Star Wars too, because they're involved usually at that Hall H? where they release the big movie stuff and the big stuff that's coming out.
Yeah. It's something like, some people say that the streaming stuff won't last, but remember, this is a streaming age. I think this will have some kind of staying power. Will DC do streaming only events? I don't know, but I do think that Hall H will change dramatically, even if DC and Marvel decide, and Star Wars, to decide to have their own conventions for their thing. I don't think this is the end of Comic-Con. Comic-Cons are great. Comic-Cons are more than just the movies.
Yes.
They've always been that way. And this may be a blessing in disguise for San Diego Comic-Con. Because of Hall H, it's overcrowded. People wait in those lines. A lot of people go there just for the movies. And this may kind of water that down a little bit. And you may have just me personally, like Eric, why I go to Comic-Cons. I buy action figures. I hang out with vendors. I buy comic books. Even when I do go to New York Comic Con, I don't really pay too much. I go to hang out with the vendors and stuff. That's like my thing. So it might lighten that load, and that might be a good thing for those fans. And, the studios are always trying to beat the leaks. You remember when Suicide Squad came out, they released that trailer, I think, within a few hours, maybe the next day. So we had that, and that was kind of like the start of this. And now the pandemic may have forced some people's hands, and that's why we have fandom. But yeah, I don't think Comic-Con's going away, but I do think the way that big tentpole movies are announced is going to change, whether that is, at investors calls, at D23, at a fandom. I think why would they, like, if you can spend some time with us, why would we want you to spend some time with them for these things?
Exactly. Like if you're doing your own thing, you're obviously much more in control of what actually goes on and presenting it. You're not slotted into a time slot. You have the whole day, so you can decide what you want to do for yourself. Like, it makes more sense as a company for them to do,
and they can show more
like this, right? They can show more of their own stuff. Obviously, there will be some studios that will show at Hall H.
Sony,
right? So you might see Sony there. Who else? Maybe you'll see what's it called? Indiana Jones. Who does it?
Lucasfilms?
That's still
Disney.
So, yeah, that's fine. So I don't know. But I'm sure
things are changing.
We'll see some of them. Yeah. Yeah.
But, like I said earlier, this could be a blessing in disguise. Kind of, just everyone always complain. If you listen to, Jet talk, he hasn't been, the last time Comic-Con was manageable was 2007. He didn't have to wait in line for a Superman Returns panel and trailer. And things changed very drastically after that. So maybe things will kind of revert to a calmer status. That's cool. I'm still going to go to San Diego one day. I was planning on doing it last year. Obviously things happened, so I couldn't do it this year. They're still at home, but San Diego Comic-Con and the Gaslamp District are totally bucket list for me. I will do it before my life's over.
Well, hopefully that's a long time, Pete. So you have many, many years.
I hope I get there next year. I hope I go 4 times before my life's over. Yeah. I feel like I'm the king of New York Comic-Con. I might as well try to invade San Diego.
So the last thing I want to talk about was we got another trailer for a documentary that's going to be on Amazon about Val Kilmer. It's called Val, and the interesting thing about it is he loved the video camera so much that he has tons and tons of footage of stuff from his life. And obviously the trailer goes through the different characters he's played, the different movies he's been in, and how he pretty much video documented his life. And he would take his video camera all these places. And obviously we know, sadly, he has throat cancer, and now he has to speak with a voice thing. I don't know what they're called. But I didn't know that about him. Like, I didn't know that that's what he was, a big video guy. And just, I mean, you would think as an actor, you're on camera all the time, so you wouldn't want to be on camera or bring your own camera, because if you're constantly on camera, then you have no time for yourself. But no, man, this guy truthfully loved being on screen. And the trailer just goes through, and it shows clips, obviously, from when he's younger and as older. So I didn't know this project was coming out. And then when I watched the trailer, I'm like, well, now I want to see it. Obviously, us being Batman fans, we know he was Batman and Batman Forever. So we have that tied to him. But Top Gun is a movie from the 80s that obviously I love. He was in Heat, which is one of my favorite movies I've
Oh my
ever
God.
seen.
Yeah.
He's been in so many things. Yeah, man, it's just sad that what's happening with the throat cancer, but he still seems to have so much energy. At least that's what I got
He
from the trailer,
does.
right?
It's sad to see someone, just take that fall. I got a little emotional. I kind of teared up a little bit at the end of that trailer because it's just, I grew up with Val Kilmer movies.
Yep.
He's the most underrated Batman of our generation. He never gets enough credit. His filmography is amazing. He's an amazing actor. Everything I've seen him in is just utterly brilliant, and I can't wait to kind of look at the life through Val's eyes. And I'm sad that he's sick, and I wish him nothing but the best. It's just Val Kilmer brings back a lot of just great memories for me as a kid. I'm really looking forward to this, and I just again, it's just I feel bad for Val. Like I don't normally feel bad for celebrities, but I feel like Val is one of the good ones. Like I don't think I've ever heard a bad thing about the man.
Yeah, but he kind of hints to, in some of the dialogue he says during the thing is like, I've been a jerk in my life.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, but I've also been a very good guy in my life.
Yeah.
Like he kind of gives
That's all of us.
Yeah. Like he kind of gives the whole, gamut of who he was as a guy, as a man and as an actor. But man, it was tough to watch the end parts with him.
Yeah.
That was tough to watch.
To hear him talk through a voice box,
I know.
It's kind of like earth shattering.
I mean, and it made me go and sit and like read through his filmography and everything he's been in. It's unbelievable.
That's why, like, when he's cast as Batman, it's not like, to go from Keaton to Val in some aspects, when you hear that, it's almost an upgrade.
Yep.
Right? Like, Val Kilmer was huge.
Yeah, he was. And he's done a lot of things. He's taken small roles. Like he's a working man's actor. Like he doesn't need to be the star and everything. He'll, that's another thing you find out about him. So,
which is interesting because you always hear the opposite. Like, he got fired from Batman Forever. He didn't get along with Joel. But
yeah.
So I'll be interested. And I'm curious to see if he discusses any of that.
Like I said, he says, I've been a jerk in my life. I've been, and I've been a good guy. Mm-hmm. So maybe that was his jerk period. Who knows? But it's a very, very moving trailer. And now it's something that I want to watch. So
yeah,
if you guys want to check that out, it's going to be on Amazon Prime. It's on video soon.
It's on the trailers on the Straight Outta Gotham Facebook pages, and it's also on our Twitter feed. So it's out there if you want to look at it. Most of the things we talk about on the rundown are actually links on the Facebook group.
Yeah, and even some of the things we don't.
Yeah,
are there. So yeah, guys, check that out. So I think that's it.
Sounds
anything else you could think of?
No, I'm good. I'm really good. The Bucks lost, so Phoenix is up 2-0.
I did see that. Yes, I did catch that they had lost. So, oh well, we'll see what happens.
I mean, I'll always pray for a Game 7.
Yep. When I don't have a rooting interest, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, otherwise it ended in 4.
That's fine.
I can't deal with the agita.
If your team's on the bad side, you wanted to end it in 4.
I mean, well, who roots for their team to lose in 4?
I know. I don't know, but some people just like putting the team that wins the first game, they say they win in 4. I see that a lot. Team wins game 1, they're like, okay, they're winning in 4. I'm like, you're young.
Those people obviously didn't watch the 2004 ALCS.
Oh, why are you going to bring up old shit?
I watched a lot of those clips today because I've kind of erased them from my memory.
Why would you do that?
I felt like, experiencing pain.
Aren't this year's Yankees pain enough? You want to add more? God, they're so bad.
Oh man! Speaking of which, I bought Bob Clappish. I bought his
Bob
book.
Clappish.
Like Inside the Empire, Behind the Empire, something like that. I bought it today, and apparently because they talk about Aaron Boone's job interview for the Yankee job, so I can't wait to dig into that. And I hope it's as good as the Yankee years by Joe Torre and Tom Bertucci. That book was
you know what's weird about Aaron Boone? Besides the fact that
my
kind of
arch
a
nemesis.
he's a controversial manager. He has one of the biggest home runs in Yankee history.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I'm looking forward to see how time is nice to Aaron Boone because
Yeah.
I don't think the man's going to get fired. I don't think he's coming back. His contract's up at the end of the season, so I don't think he'll be back. But he did hit a huge home run to win a pennant.
Yep.
He's also been one of the worst managers in the history of the Yankees.
But
so, is he going to come to Old Timers Day and get cheered?
I can't completely blame him when he doesn't have all the power most managers have. And that's the issue I have. But I agree. But
if his in-game strategy and the lack of in-game awareness is on him.
Yeah, you can definitely nitpick that part of it. But the fact that he doesn't get to make all of the decisions that managers used to have to make.
In this book, Klapisch says he doesn't even write the lineups. It's handed to him.
Yeah, there's been talk. That's been talked about since he took over. Yeah. He got hired. That was one of the things he had to agree with. That they would figure out the lineup. Sorry, guys, we're doing a sports little thing now. But, yeah. So tell me what the book is like. Let me know when you're done reading.
I haven't read it. I just got it today, but I'm really what's it called? I follow this one account on Twitter. I think it's at Grunt Talks MLB or something like that. And this guy Julian and his partner do a really good Yankee podcast. They're good fans. So if you're a Yankee fan, listen to them. And they had Klapisch on, and they interviewed him, and it was a really great interview. And it's quick. It was 30, 40 minutes. And they referenced the book a lot. And I was like, I got to read this book. If you're as much of a Boone hater as I am, you can't read this book. But we'll see what happens. I'm very interested. They did lose today in Seattle, but they won the series. So if they keep winning 2 out of 3, I can't really complain, but we'll see.
Yeah, the pitcher is a rookie that beat them, and he's been great.
Yeah.
He's been really good this year. So
I saw him. He had this deceptive delivery and kind of a lot of moving parts, and they just didn't have it today. But I'll take the series win, and hopefully it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, they hit the crap out of the ball the first 2 games.
I got a feeling this team is going to go on a little bit of a run.
I hope so.
Well, I'm not that positive. They're going to go on enough of a run to the point where then they won't sell. And then the team is just mediocre for the next 2-3 years, as opposed to just tanking and selling now. But
that they pull you in, that you get excited again. And
then, I feel like Michael Corleone.
Yep. I feel you on that one too. I do see something like that happening with the Yankees.
But all right, let's wrap this up. My battery's about to die. I don't have my charger. I can't find my charger.
All right, man. So plug.
All right, here we go. Follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Zack Snyder's favorite video at Pete Illustrated. Check out my podcast that I co-host with the Caruso, Sausage and Meatball, at Italians for Spider-Man, at Italians for Spidey, the Italian Spider-Man Podcast Coalition. Check out my reviews on Batman on Film. I got toy reviews. I got comic book reviews. I got interviews on Batman on Film YouTube. Check them out. Zeddy, I've got interviews with Terry McGinnis himself. Make sure you check that one out. I know you love Batman Beyond. So check all that stuff out. At Team Yellow Oval, we are still basking in the glory of the Yellow Oval. We're very excited between Batman 89, the comic, and the Flash movie. Keaton's back, the most iconic Batman of all time. Really excited for that. What else do I got going on? I don't know. Eric, you take it away.
All right, guys. As you know, you can find me on Twitter at Finally33. That's spelled Finale33. Also on Instagram, it's with the same handle. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook with our Facebook show page for Straight Outta Gotham and the Facebook Straight Outta Gotham group, where we interact with the fans and have fun and do all that fun stuff there. As I mentioned, don't forget, me and Garrett Grev will be hosting a podcast called From Here to Eternia, going over the new He-Man Revelations show and a little bit of Master of the Universe history there as well. So if that's everything, Pete. Yes?
Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
So for Pete Vera, I'm Eric Holzman. You are listening to Straight Outta Gotham, and we'll see you next time.
Booyah!